All right, you guys. Let's give a wave and a hello to our friends who are watching the recap. Hi, friends. Hello, happy Tuesday. It is April 29th. This is the Struggle Bus. We are in BariNation. This is just a safe place to us to gather, share, hang out, celebrate wins, and help you work through a problem. Yeah, it's just our time to be together and hang out. We're keeping it simple. We're keeping it simple today.
Hmm.
I don't know about you guys. I need something simple. My brain is on overdrive. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Oh,
No,
this week. Simple is okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Yes.
it's been a week. It's only
And
Tuesday.
it's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good. Well, Laura and other hosts and leaders here in Berry Nation, they love to start off by celebrating a win. And I think that is a phenomenal idea. So I'd like to kick us off by opening the floor. Is there a win that you would like to share or celebrate?
I have one.
Get us started, girl.
Okay. I shared and connected with a coworker today about having bariatric surgery and found out that she is on Manjaro. But yeah, we like had a very nice heart to heart about weight loss and fitness and health. And it just felt really good to have at least one person that knows on my team. Um, and she was very supportive. I like showed her all my pictures and she hyped me up and I was like, I really needed that. I told her, I was like, I really needed this hype up today. Because yesterday was really hard. So, yeah, felt really good to just connect with someone who kind of gets it and is at work, so I don't have to hide it as much. So,
That's awesome. That's a big win.
yeah, it was a big one.
That's a big one. Are you planning that to tell other people or just haven't gotten that far yet?
Um, I think, well, I'm not planning to be like, hey guys, I had bariatric surgery, but it came up because people in my space at work like to bring like interesting snacks, like different flavored nuts or chips or things like that. And someone had brought in, they were really good, but they had like that late hit spice. And I was like, oh crap, but they were like cashews. And I was like, oh no, like these are so spicy. And we were both kind of just ruminating about how spicy they were. And I was like, yeah, I don't really do spice. And she goes, yeah, me neither. And she said something about making just like health choices, and now her body doesn't tolerate it. I went, oh, I thought maybe she was bariatric. So I went, oh yeah, I had weight loss surgery. And she's like, yeah, I'm on Manjaro. So it's like we kind of could connect that way, but we were both, she was very hush hush. So I also in turn was like, yeah, this can just be a like one-on-one thing. But yeah, it just like came up organically. And I think that was just the right thing.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. That's a good win. That's a
Yeah.
really, especially when this person you're talking to is so open and receptive to learning about you.
Yeah, it was very nice. We've become pretty good coworker friends, so it was nice to kind of take it up a notch a little bit.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you for getting us started. Let's keep the hits coming. A win that you'd like to celebrate today.
I'll celebrate a head work win. This morning, I was going to meet my friend at the gym, and there was a really bad accident. And so the traffic was backed like way up. There was just no way I was going to get there, and I wasn't going to sit on the freeway for 2 hours. So I just texted and said, sorry, I can't make it. And the win is normally I would have just sat the 2 hours just to appease the person that I was meeting. It didn't matter how uncomfortable it was going to make me. I would have held my pee if I had to go to the bathroom. I would have done all the things to not let somebody else down. But I was like, no, send a text and say, there's traffic and I'm not sitting in it. And of course, the response was like, I'm going to work out double, so I can work on your behalf too, which was an awesome reply. And then, yeah, I plan to just go up here in the stadium and just do some, flights and stairs and all the things and not use elevators and escalators. So I'll get my movement in elsewhere.
That's a big one, especially when it comes to movement and the want to not let yourself down after you've started doing something. And I know that sometimes to our detriment, we can do that if we really go all in too far the other way. And so actually been there myself. So knowing that you made that switch, that was really cool. Good job.
Freaking rad. Rad, rad, rad. Any other wins?
I can go.
Yeah.
So a few wins. I finally broke my stall that I was on for 3 weeks. So yay. Um, so I know that can sometimes create like a mental space, a hard mental space, but I finally did that and lost 7 pounds. When it popped out, I was like, woohoo. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing something right. And then another one is I've actually had two people I went to college with and high school with reach out and that they have bariatric consults this week with surgeons.
Yeah.
So they were inspired by my progress and the hard work I'm doing, that they see the results. And so they're going through that process. So I'm really happy for them. And finally, the last one, I know Tara knows this, is I have this fan club at my apartments that of these random strangers I've never talked to, but they drive by really slow. And I always have to tell myself, are they about to kidnap me or are they just gonna like roll down the window and like talk to me? And I'm always like taking out my music and they're like, have you lost weight? I've had, no joke, in the last 2 weeks, like 8 people that I've never even talked to. They're like, we always see you walking your dog. And if they seem legitimate, I tell them like, I go on an hour walk every day. I also, did have surgery. I am upfront with that. So they don't think that walking an hour every day will just magically have the same results. But I call 'em my fan club because, I never really realized that people actually pay attention to you. I thought I was just kind of out there in my own little world with my music. I didn't realize people were actually paying attention to me and could notice the difference. So those are my 3 wins this week.
Those are huge. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank
Because
you. Thank you.
having people notice is really kind of the thing that keeps us pumped and motivated in the beginning, and especially people reaching out and saying that they're now inspired by your journey and going to do something about their own health is a connection with somebody that it's very rare. Like that is a connection that you really feel deep with somebody that they reached out to you and not only can share that with you, but let you know that you helped get them to where they are.
Mhm.
So that's amazing. So great job. That's wouldn't ever come if you didn't share your story. So great work, man.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a win similar to Natalie's with the sharing your story because there's a guy that's been going to the gym about the same amount of time that I have. He works with a personal trainer Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we've become kind of friendly over the time. And he came up to me the other day and he was like, "Man, I got to tell you," he's like, since we've started until right now, he's like, you've changed drastically. He's like, you've changed tremendously. He goes, and I just want to tell you, like, you're killing it, man. You're inspiring me to keep coming and pushing hard. He's like, so I appreciate you. And I told him, I said, listen, I was like, I know exactly how you feel because he's in a bigger body. And I said, I know exactly how you feel. I was like, so I pulled out my pictures. I said, this is what I looked like before I had surgery. I was like, and then I had surgery. And now I've been coming there. I was like, you saw me when I was at kind of not at my lowest, but when I was coming back in to start building on that, I was like, so now you've seen like what, the trajectory can be from losing the weight to building the muscle to doing the things. I was like, you're doing great. Like, keep doing you, like, keep doing what you're doing and pushing it. So it was really cool to see somebody who's been there the whole time I've been doing it. Like, kind of like what Jonathan said, people pay attention. And it's not something that I even thought about until you know, just recently when he said that, I was like, oh, well, I was like, because everybody kind of goes into the gym, like Jonathan said, with their headphones, and everybody kind of minds their own business and doesn't really mess with anybody too much. So that was kind of cool for him to step out and say that. So it was good to know that somebody was watching and could take something positive from what I've been doing. So
I'm telling you, we're all telling each other this. Your story matters. You living now, you said on a podcast that I think we recorded recently. I don't know if it's dropped yet or not, but just when we live our life boldly, and I don't know if unapologetically is the word, but if we're just not afraid to kind of live our life in public, you are inspiring somebody. There is something that you're doing, there's something that you're saying, there are actions that you're taking that somebody else really wants to do. And when they see you just living your life, when they see you just being who you are authentically, that matters. It resonates with people. People know that you're not joking around, and you become that person for them. Have you guys ever spent any time learning about, and maybe that's even not the right word, the hero's journey? Have you guys heard the hero's journey? So it's about the process that we go through. It's really about the change process, right? It's how we go from not thinking that we can change, not thinking we can do something, to actually doing it. And it's like 10 or 12 steps called the hero's journey. It's a literary formula, for lack of a better term, but the hero's journey is the hero's journey across every culture, every time span, right? The hero's journey isn't anything new. But what really kind of dawned on me the other day, and I would like to start talking about it more here in BariNation because I think it's helpful for all of us. Most of the steps on the hero's journey, we would call a stall. We would call a setback. We would call hitting a wall, right? Going the wrong direction. The hero's journey is really a journey of struggle, but it's a journey of curiosity. It's a journey of resilience. And the interesting thing about the hero's journey is every journey involves meeting teachers who can help, involves working in community, and it involves sharing your story. It is phenomenal. And what I hear all the wins tonight so far, it is about that hero's journey. It's about realizing that we can inspire somebody else. But the most powerful thing, and what I'm starting to understand, I never put myself in my own hero's journey. I never put myself in my own journey, in my own story. But when I start to think of myself as the hero in my own story, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm at this part of the journey. I'm at this kind of stop, right? This is where I'm at right now. And if I can identify that, it almost gives me a path forward that I can use to be like, I really do want to figure this out. I really do want to come out of this on the other side. Um, with an answer, with a solution, with an aha moment. But the one of the coolest thing about the hero's journey is that it ends when you kind of reappear in life. But when you reappear in life and you reach back to help somebody else. Because at the same time that you're doing that, you're also reaching forward because now there's something else in life that you want to explore. Very long explanation. Don't know if that made sense, but yeah, you guys talking about wins and inspiring others. It's the hero's journey. You really are in somebody else's life becoming that hero, and you're becoming the hero in your own journey.
I have goosebumps. I'm like, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I have heard the hero's journey like thrown around in my life, but never truly took the time to look into it. And I think it's time that I do because I think there's so much validity in what you said, April, about being our own hero, right? Like
Mhm.
watching and saying, yeah, I'm doing that. I got set back or I had this challenge. I moved through it because I did all of these things.
Mhm.
I think that's really a valid statement and thought to apply to our journey as bariatric patients for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of helped me in this last round of struggle, setback, weight recurrence, and all this kind of stuff. I lost access to GLP-1 medication, and somebody introduced me to it. I was so I'm a member of a community that's all about learning how to build good community, if that makes sense. And it was in that I was at one of those live meetings, and I was describing what I was struggling with, and this very intelligent person just said, "Huh, it sounds like you're smack dab in the middle of a hero's journey." And I was like, "What?" And he showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And why it was so helpful for me is, even though I've known people in my life who've gone through great struggle and great sacrifice isn't the right word, like it's they've been on a hero's journey. I never thought about it in this context, is the struggle is a part of that hero's journey. I was always thinking it was just linear, right? Like, nope, I'm just gonna be totally fine. And then I don't know, for whatever reason, I just saw it visually represented. And then I really started thinking about all the hero stories I grew up with: He-Man, Superman, even like Micro Machines, even like Captain Planet. You know what I mean? Like, you think of like all of those characters, they're on that hero arc somewhere. Um, and any hero in any story that we've ever read kind of follows the same pattern, but every hero encounters problems, setbacks. Every hero taps into a community, a teacher, right? They're learning something new, they're going through it, and then how they come through on the other end is really what it's all about. So, yeah, good stuff. Okay. Well, I'll spend some more time really polishing that, but I'm telling you guys, I've been ruminating on that for a couple months now, and it's just making more and more sense to me. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Harry Potter, The Hobbit, yep, all that stuff. All heroes' journeys, the Odyssey. Yeah, awesome. Any other wins anybody would like to celebrate? Go for it, Ashley.
Well, I've been wanting to incorporate movement, but I haven't really been motivated to do it. So I was talking to my manager at work this morning, and we made a commitment that at least 3 days a week before our shift starts, we're going to meet early and just walk around the parking lot before we clock in. So that was my win.
Yes, that's huge. Well done. The last time I was in a real movement slump, Melanie Lindell was actually one that got me out of it. And that was exactly how she did it. We went and did something together, and I dropped her off, and I was lamenting over like how I'm stuck with movement. And she's like, "You just got to get out of your own way. We're just going to go do it right now." And she literally drugged me on a walk around her neighborhood. And I was like, okay, like, it's sometimes you just got to get it over with. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to break the streak, but you do. And you're like, all right, I just got to go do this.
And sometimes you just have to say it, right? You'd be so surprised the responses that you get from people that are like, "Oh, I've always wanted somebody to walk with, or an accountability partner, or I'm in the same slump as you," or you just have to say it because it just sparks something within yourself, but it usually sparks something with somebody else. And then you're on the right little path to get out of the slump.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
just hearing people at work talk about different like running apps and things like that. I'm like, oh, do they do ones for walking? And signing up for one, and just because you can see each other on and cheer each other on, it's just the verbalizing really is the first step. And Ashley, that's really hard to do, especially with coworkers and managers and things like that. So, way to go. That's huge.
It took me a while to like warm up to it, but she'd been talking about wanting to lose weight and how she was going to be 35 next year and she needed to make a change. And I was like, well, I'm just going to be honest with her because she follows my Instagram for my weight loss. And so she knows about it. And then I voiced how I was struggling. And then she was like, let's walk 3 days at least. And I was like, okay, well, we'll have to just come after we drop kids off at school and just get here like 45 minutes early because I'm gonna need a breather between clocking in and walking.
Friend, you doing it. That's all that matters. You're doing it. Well done. And that will, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. You're going to find your spark again. Sometimes it just takes a few clicks of the flint, right, to get it going. Nice. Any other wins somebody would like to celebrate? And if not, that's all good. We just want to make sure we hold space for that. And wins can happen anytime. Let's be honest. How about struggles? Somebody struggling with something? Somebody on the bus today?
Ruminating thoughts that tell me that I can't do it, even though I know I can. But I don't know. I think that's a reoccurring thing for most people, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back to the head work aspect and journaling and all that. But what else do people do other than journal? Because I've almost filled up an entire journal already, and I've only been doing this for like a week and a half. I feel like all I do is write.
I know for me in the movement side of things, like I've had days where I've been, going to do my movement, and my body will legitimately tell me that I can't do something that I just did the day before yesterday. Like legit 2 days ago, my body will be like, you can't do that. Like you can't. So what I have had to do in those cases is I have to take the thought that has no data backing it, and I have to prove the theory with the data showing that I can do it, because I know I can do it because I've already done it. So continue to push and, push through the negative thoughts to show yourself that you can do it is what's lessened those thoughts in my mind. Now, when they do come up, I can say, oh, I know what this is. I've been here before. So if I just continue to do it, then eventually it shuts up. And even if it doesn't shut up, like even if it stays back there, like kind of low key in the back of your mind, you still push through the workout or the walk or the whatever it is to show that you can do it. So that way you have the data that starts the rewire, because you can't rewire without the data to prove that you can do it.
Excellent suggestions, Jason. What other words of encouragement or suggestions can we offer our friend?
Well, I'll quote Laura Gravo, keep your why close. Just like remember why you're doing it.
So powerful. And it's easy to forget that. So thank you for reminding us about that. Yeah. I mean, we're always talking to ourselves, right? We talk to ourselves the most out of anybody really in the world. I'm reminded of some of the classes Rodolfo has taught, right, about limiting beliefs or about letting our thoughts just kind of run wild. Actually, I'm sure you've done this and you've heard me say this a million times. Have you taken the time to answer the questions that keep ruminating in your head? I'm assuming that's what the journal is all about.
Yeah, I try to go back and reread every now and then and see if I can point out triggers or like similarities of like where I'm at or what I'm doing at the time that I'm thinking that. And usually it's when it's in the evening time, my downtime, when I know I should be doing something, but I'm just so exhausted that I just keep, well, I can't do it because of this. I can't do like I can't start working out because I'm always so tired and I don't get enough sleep and I don't eat enough. And it's like I keep coming up with excuses not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start beating myself up and just telling myself it is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I've
So
done that. I think we
yeah, go ahead.
go for it. Mm-mm.
I don't it's like the limiting beliefs that you brought up with Rodolfo. I've been looking further into that, but just coming to terms with the realization is the hardest part. It's like when you finally have the aha moment and then you have to work through that. And I just kind of feel stuck when I get to that point because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So something that I've been trying. Oop, my internet's going crazy. Jason, I'm going to make you the host just in case. Um, I struggle with the same thing too, Ashley. My brain throws thoughts out 1,000 miles an hour, and most of them are not great, right? They are self-depreciating, they're negative, they're not helpful, they're just not good. And I've, attempted to answer them. I've attempted to do all these things. What I'm attempting to do now is kind of novel for me, and I have no results yet. But I'm trying to think about nothing when I realize I'm thinking those things. And I know it sounds weird, but I'm trying to really practice, I guess, and I hate the word mindfulness, but what hasn't been working for me lately is talking back to myself. Then I'm just in an argument with myself and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is just stupid. I'm just going back and over the same stuff." So what I have been doing is I came across a line in a book and it just said, every time you realize you're thinking a thought that you don't want to think, literally say thought, thank you, and then move it on. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever read. I got to tell you, I'm catching myself more during these last couple days. Um, and I'm just able to acknowledge that I'm thinking the thought, and then I'm not going any further. I'm just letting it go on its merry way and not have a conversation with myself and just tune into whatever I'm doing right there in the moment. Like today, I went for a little beach walk, doing the same thing. Just I should be doing this, and I didn't get this done, and just beat myself up. And I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, thought, thank you. And I listened to the trees in the wind, and I listened to the birds, and I focused on the waves on the beach. I looked for sea glass. I just tried to not pay attention to those thoughts.
You gave yourself what you needed in that moment, is what it sounds like. And that just
Mhm.
brought me to my aha moment of maybe I shouldn't be so introspective that I don't need to figure out exactly why I'm doing this or why I'm questioning it. I just need to ask myself, like, what do I need?
Mhm. And it sounds like you need a break from those thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be times we've talked about it before where your body is just going to kind of jettison everything that it doesn't need and it's just going to go into a survival mode of sorts. And sometimes you have to do that just to be able to survive the wave of thoughts that's coming at you. So it sounds a little more dramatic than it really is. I mean, but in the end game, it's the same principle. You're just kind of only holding on to the thoughts that are going to get you through that moment because when those negative self-talk and all those things come at you at one time, it's very overwhelming. Like it can feel like somebody's just throwing a 10-pound blanket on top of you and you're just trying to fight your way out of it. So jettison kind of all the other stuff that you don't need and just get yourself through that moment. Like when it comes to stuff with it's really like that it's really harsh that I'm saying to myself, I find the person that I care about the most in my contacts and I type what I'm saying to myself out in that contact like I'm going to send it to them. And when I read it out loud and think about what that person would feel like if I sent that to them, that makes me reassess what it feels like, what it should feel like to me. Because if somebody said what I was saying to myself to me, there would be like I would be devastated. Or if I said that to someone that I truly cared about, they would be devastated. So why is it okay for me to say it to me? And then once it's out there and I've spoken it, I can erase it and we can move on to the next thought.
You know, I think that would actually work out better because you're actually topping it to someone else. Because like I've always heard, would you say that to your best friend?
Right.
You'd be like, no. But then taking the extra step to actually top it out in a message to someone else, I think that makes it more real. Like,
Well, and like what you said, you have your journals, and sometimes you try to go back and look at them, but that means you're not actually connecting with the words that you're writing, because if you don't ever go back and look at them, it's good to get them out. But when you have it out, like it could possibly get sent, that creates the next level of, oh shit, let me actually look at this and see what it is. And oh my God, I would never want that person to get this message. So once you
mhm.
erase it, now you can move on and focus on something else.
Mhm.
Freaking genius.
I have my
That's
moment.
really good. That's really good. Anybody have anything else to offer Ashley? I certainly hope that helps. It's something we all struggle. It doesn't make it easy, doesn't make it fun, doesn't make it pleasant, but it's a shared struggle. What else? Anybody else struggling with something? Anybody else have a wonder or a question?
My question is, why does my 75-pound pit think he's a lap dog? That's what I want to know.
Why does
It's
my
gonna
13-pound Havanese hate human touch and contact? I don't
it's
know.
gonna storm here at some point, somewhere, so the dogs are losing their shit. So that's why I have lap
Hmm.
dogs.
Hmm.
And
Well,
he's
that checks.
probably never even coming. He's just being a pansy. So
What about something that's going really, really well? Is anybody finding like they're in a groove? No, everybody's just this week, even this week in Zoom with my kids, the kids are so quiet. And I'm like, man, something's in the air, the water. I don't know. Go for it, Melody.
I guess this is a win, I guess, or something. I'm trying to like work on my reducing the amount of shame I have about my weight. And part of that is I was weighing myself every day. The last couple of weeks I've only weighed myself once a week. Um, and so um, and so I'm proud of that because I was because every day would be like, if it was up, I'd be freaking out and upset, and it would ruin my whole day. And if it was down, oh yeah, I was excited, but whatever. And so I was tired of the ups and downs, and so now I'm just doing this once a week, and I've managed to do it now for 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that I can turn this into a pattern that will stay.
Listen, as a former daily weigher for many, 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 many years, I started exactly how you're starting now, and I'm proud to say that I've weighed myself twice in the last 3 months. So you can get there. You will get there. You just have to start what you've already done. So bravo to you, because I know that's hard. I know what it's like to attach that number to the outcome of your entire day, because that's what I was doing. If it was up, it'd be a horrible day. If it was down, it'd be a great day. And it didn't matter if it was ounces, pounds, didn't matter. Like it just affected the trajectory of the entire day. So trust and believe what you're doing is an amazing step for yourself, and I'm very proud of you. That's awesome.
Are you feeling good about it? I mean, your voice makes you. It sounds very hopeful. So it sounds like you're like, yeah, this could be a good thing.
I'm hoping it is. I'm trying to work through all that. I've been at this for a very long time, like a lot of people. And so I was a dedicated Weight Watcher for a long time, and they would be like you need to weigh in every day. So that way you make sure that you don't have any fluctuations. Besides the fact that, you know, as a woman, we have fluctuations like throughout the entire month. So it's just terrible. So, but anyway, but yeah, I'm trying. I'm 6 months. I'm about 6 months out. I'm about to have my 6 month surgiversary or whatever. And so I am. So I'm still have to kind of weigh myself on a regular basis because I'm still on that road downwards. But eventually, I hope when I get to my maintenance kind of phase, I won't feel the need to weigh myself as often.
Awesome work. It is so hard, right? It's like you're breaking up with an actual person when you make that decision to kind of get some distance between yourself and the scale. It is hard to do. Our wonderful friend Maddie, who also leads here in BariNation, it was on a podcast and she said, "My weight is the least interesting thing about me." And that is true, that we give so much weight to the number, and it just doesn't deserve that much time and attention. It is an important piece of data, but it's a singular piece of data. That scale is simply telling you your gravitational pull towards the earth. That's what it's telling you. It's not able to tell you the joy that you feel when you're able to move your body in ways that you've never been able to do before. Keeping up with kids or grandkids, right? Being able to cross your legs for the first time and God knows how long, right? Like there are so many amazing milestones that we can celebrate and acknowledge along this journey. The scale can be one, but it doesn't have to be the only one. And breaking up with it is a thing that many of us have done. Awesome. Nice work, Melanie. Keep us updated on your progress if you feel like it.
Yeah, my scale spent a couple weeks in the closet because I was tired of her shit. Wasn't
Mm-hmm.
putting up with it. Wasn't putting up with it anymore. Had to go in the closet.
Mm-hmm. I had to get weighed today. I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and the doctor's appointment didn't go the way that I thought that it would. It was it was with the female doctor, and I had, anyways, and not even without even asking me, she just walked me over to this place. I didn't realize the scale was there, and she's like, "Oh, let's get your weight," and I was like, really, this is how we're gonna start this today. Yep, they needed my weight, even though I'd just been weighed 2 weeks ago at my PCP. All right, fine. And then they were going through my medical history, and she asked me if I was still on weight loss drugs. And I was like, hmm. I said, they're anti-obesity medication, not weight loss drugs. Anti-obesity medication. And she's like, well, but I can see here it goes back quite a few years. You've been on the weight loss drugs. And I was like, they're not weight loss drugs. They're anti-obesity medications. I have the disease of obesity. Medication was at one point a part of my treatment plan. It's to help me manage my disease of obesity. And she just kind of looked at me like, one of those blank stares. And I was like, oh my God. And she said it a third time. And finally, I was like, can you please show me where in my chart it says that I have been on weight loss drugs? Please show
Please
me.
show
This
me
is
in your
my medical.
medical journal where they're called weight loss drugs.
Ugh.
Show me where
Well,
the FDA labels them weight loss drugs, please.
oh, it was, yeah, it was just a 1, 2, 3 punch this morning, but I was able to see my medical records and it was in a part that they could edit. And I was like, I'm going to need you to delete that. And I need you to write anti-obesity medication because that's what it is and why
Oh, it says
I'm
weight loss drugs in your chart?
in my chart. And I was like, okay, we're going to, this is how we're fighting the devil today. This is how we're doing it. Oh, it continues to frustrate me. But I was able to have, I think, a really candid conversation with the PA eventually. I've been on hormone replacement therapy for maybe 3 months now, 2.5 months. And she came in all bubbly and happy. And she's like, oh, I'm so excited to hear how it's going. And I was like, it's just not that magical. I see women
Well,
all the time.
buckle
They're
up
like,
because it's not going to be as great as you think.
it's not gonna be as great as what you think. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, you've only lost 2 pounds since I saw you last." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stab somebody's eyes out." So I
We
feel
wonder
the,
why so many people have shame around their weight.
and the devil took it out of me with the first run of having her delete weight loss medication from my chart. I was pretty much out of steam when I had my run in with her, but yeah, I'm counting it as a win. I hopefully educated and scared the crap out of a nurse assistant today.
So
And if
Don't know
Cher
it.
says,
Go ahead.
what, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if Natalie's still here. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell.
she had to dip out. She got sick.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to actually just take a moment and thank you, April, Jason, and Natalie, because I swear, like, I did not know what BariNation was, and you guys like have been sent down from up above. I am not kidding. Like, you have created this platform not only for like support and all that kind of stuff, but the community. Like, I have people that I can get my movement in with. I have people, right? I feel so comfortable sharing anything and everything on the share here because I know that this is a no judgment kind of place. I can come here when I can't come to family and friends and stuff like that. I think it's really important that we recognize the people behind this. Like, really, like, this is, I mean, life saving, but you guys have invested so much. And yeah, anyway, I just want to thank you guys, all three of you. So we'll have to let Natalie know.
Yes, we definitely will, and we thank you for saying those amazingly kind words. But we have said from the beginning that this gives back to us tenfold what we could give to it, and you guys. You guys have been there through with us through everything, ups and downs, and supported a dream that April and I started a long time ago, and we brought Natalie in on, who's helped us tremendously as well. But we wouldn't be where we are without you all. So you all deserve just as much of the credit as we do. So
Yes, thank you. Thank you for saying that. We are patients as well. When we're here, we are getting exactly what everybody else is getting out of this because we are no different than all of us. We struggle with the same things. We think about the same things. We want to punch walls. We want to snatch the same eyeballs. We want to do all the same things. But this is the place that we can come and really figure out how to live the things, right? We all know what we have to do. It's learning the why behind it, and it's having the safe place to practice. It's like, me today. Never in a million years would I've ever corrected a doctor on what type of medication I was on in the past. But I learned how to do that, and I learned why it's important to do that doing this, doing this. And you just can't get this kind of opportunity or deep learning from a single podcast episode. It's where the podcast is where it all sparks for us. And then we realize, I need to learn more. I gotta go deeper. I gotta figure this out. So we're just very, very thankful for all of you guys as well, too. You're helping us just as much. Just as much. All right. Any other struggles? Any other questions? Any other frustrations? Any other things to celebrate?
I'll share one.
Oh, please do.
I told this to April already, but I was on a meetup with Dr. McMahon earlier, and I think as victims of our own headspace, the obese headspace, we're always second guessing ourselves. And I have been second guessing myself about changing my GLP-1 dose. And she gave me the permission just to send a message and have the conversation. And my 10 milligram GLP-1 Zepbound doses, well, it's not waiting for me yet at Walgreens, but it will be very soon. So sometimes you just need that little push.
So flippin' happy for you. So flippin' happy for you. Okay, we all must have been mind melding last night. This idea popped into my head, and tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm crazy. Remember all the things, and they've still gone around on social media or whatever, and people make reels and all these things, and they're like, you don't need permission to do this, or, I don't know. It's all these things, right? Like, you don't need permission. You don't need permission. You know what popped in my brain last night at 2 a.m.? Bullshit. I do need permission. I am a high functioning, rule following, I'm going to do it by the letter of the law human being. And if somebody doesn't tell me that I can do that without breaking a rule or a law or whatever, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it.
And
And I think,
it's always
and it's
been your
what?
fault. It's always been your fault, right? It's always my fault.
Yes.
I need this extra
Yes.
help, but it's my fault. I shouldn't need that extra help, right? But I need someone to tell me that I do.
At 2 a.m., I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I want to do an entire campaign where it's just all of us saying, like, hi, I know you need this. You need permission to go book a consultation. I'm giving you permission to go switch out your vitamins. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my God. Sometimes we do need to know, we just need to hear that from somebody who gets it, right? Like, yes, you need permission to find somebody that can help you with that. Yes, you go forth. Like, but that's kind of what you needed, Herb, to make your move forward.
Like I knew the answer, right? We all know the answer often, but I just needed someone to give me the permission,
Dude, we are onto something.
which is okay, right?
Which is okay. I mean, I think we've all spent our life following rules. We've all spent our life doing what was asked of us. We've all spent our life, not trying to rock any boat or step over any lines. I mean, and we're curious creatures. We are learners at heart. And when we're in a learning environment, we're going to follow the rules. But then what happens when there isn't anybody there to show you what the rules are or to tell you how to do something with I mean, it's just, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. And thank you for verbalizing that, Herb.
But also you should probably be sleeping at 2 a.m. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I should. I should. Yeah. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to tackle. Well, do you guys want a sneak peek of what we have coming up next month for us? Okay. And it absolutely ties into what we were talking about at the top of the hour. So Miss Ashley, buckle up a little bit. So as you know, we have welcomed a ton of new experts into BariNation this month, as of recently. One of our newest experts, Dr. Joseph Green, is really excited to spend more time talking about mindfulness. When he told me this, I was like, I hate that word. I don't like what. He and I sat down a few weeks ago and had the most amazing conversation about what mindfulness is, what it isn't, and how it can be a powerful tool that none of us are usually tapping into for a myriad of reasons. He's been practicing mindfulness in his personal and professional life for quite a few years now, and he has seen amazing benefits. He really, truly has seen personal growth and professional growth. And I don't know if you guys know much about Dr. Green. His bariatric program is actually closing. Tomorrow is his last day as the surgeon at his thing. He's going through something monumentally difficult, saying goodbye to his practice, to his patients, maybe thinking about even relocating, all this stuff, all this craziness. He says that mindfulness is the thing that is helping him get through this very tumultuous time of life. And when he talked to me about how he envisions or connects mindfulness with movement, it made all the sense in the world. So in May, our theme is going to be Mindful May. He's going to be leading meetups with myself. We're going to bring in another mindful expert who none of us have had the chance of meeting before. But we're going to talk about mindfulness, what it is, what it isn't, how we can apply the strategies to all four pillars of our bariatric life: movement, mindset, metabolic wellness, and even community. But it's going to, I think, really show us just how disconnected kind of from our thoughts that we are, how much on autopilot we're living our lives, and how just by taking back a little piece of that can be beneficial in our bariatric journey. It's going to be amazing. I am beyond excited. Dr. Green is absolutely thrilled. He's like ecstatic that he gets to lead these talks and discussions, pass along this information to our community. So that's going to kick off on May 1st. I'm going to be posting some meetups on the calendar. We'll start sharing just some very basic, low-key information about mindfulness. What I want to be really cognizant of is I don't want this to be one other thing, right? That now I have to learn one other thing, or now I have to do one other thing. What I know this will be, and we'll work really hard to do this, is it's an introduction of something that you can do while you're already doing life. Does that make sense? This isn't one more thing to do. It's a way for us to actually be more present in every moment, or in some of the moments that we're living. This book that he recommended, I'm like halfway through it, and in the first 10 pages, research study. So do you guys know you are not connected to your thoughts 47% of the day? Almost half of your day, you are completely on autopilot. Your brain is just doing all kinds of stuff in the background. And most of those thoughts are not helpful. They're not kind. They are wired to be that way, right? It's wired to keep us alive. But in this modern world, it's gotten a little bit worse, because every time our phone dings, we think, oh my God, what is that? What is it now? What is it now? Right? This is a constant fire of our brains being triggered. And mindfulness helps us get a little fraction of that back. He and I talked about this about 2-3 weeks ago. I got the book, I started reading it, and I've been implementing some of the very small things that the book recommends. I don't think I have a full report yet, but it really truly has been helpful. Like today, instead of spiraling and saying nothing, I was able to be present as I felt the rage rise inside me when they talked about, right, weight loss drugs. But I was able to stay present in that conversation. I didn't allow my brain to go skyrocket off into that obesity brain, into those negative thoughts and the feelings of shame and guilt and all that kind of stuff. I did not allow my brain to self-eject itself. I just stayed present in that conversation and in that moment. So that's really what May is going to be all about. It's going to be something that we've never done before, but I have a feeling it's going to be something that everybody is going to find extremely beneficial. So every day we're just going to share little nuggets of mindful wisdom on the Share Here feed. We've got some awesome kind of mantras or affirmations that just help us reconnect with the present mind. We'll have those meetups that you're welcome to join us to on the calendar. And when those mindful experts do join us for live talks, they'll be recorded and you can take them in right whenever is right for you. But the focus for May is going to be mindfulness, to get out of the woo woo and to understand how it can really be of benefit to our life. Okay, so what do you think? Interesting. Okay, I see some thumbs. Okay, good. When he came to me with this, I was like, I'm just going to tell you before you go any further, Dr. Green, I freaking hate that word. Mindfulness sounds woo woo. I don't get it. All that kind of stuff. And within an hour, he was able to help me see it from a different perspective. Good. I'm glad. Okay, so I'm glad you guys are excited about it. I'll share the book. I don't want it to be one more thing that you have to buy, though. But we'll be sharing quotes from it all throughout. But it's going to be awesome. And Christine just the other day randomly posted something on the feed about how she's been practicing meditation for quite a while now. She's seen huge results from it as well. Big changes for her. So all good stuff. The last little very cool piece of news. I can't tell you anything about it, but today we got to interview next year's ASMBS president before he ascends the throne of ASMBS. That was a huge conversation. He's absolutely wonderful. When you guys hear this conversation, you are going to be inspired, and I think you're going to feel very hopeful. I have I don't think I've had a conversation to date with a surgeon or with a provider that so clearly was able to articulate their center is in patients and how they help and support patients and how the messaging has to be centered around patients. Yes, Jason, I'm telling you, it was like, oh my God, yeah, awesome. Just a phenomenal conversation. So that'll be coming up in June. I think that episode will drop in June. And I don't know if we've told you guys this yet or not. There's been a lot of amazing things that have gone on behind the scenes, but BariNation, you guys, was selected to speak twice at this year's ASMBS. Twice. We get to present on the abstract stage on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we were extended an invitation to join them at the main panel discussion on lifting shame and stigma. When I got that email, I was like, oh my God, they're rescinding our invitation to speak for the first time. Nope, they invited us to speak a second time. So I'm telling you guys, amazing things are happening. They are listening to your stories. They are listening to your struggles. They are paying attention to what we as a nation are doing. They see us, they hear us, and they are very aware of us now. And that has been a really amazing thing. So we'll have lots more to share about that. The ASMBS conference is the middle of June in Washington, D.C. And Wednesday, we will be presenting with Dr. Joe Cribbins, Dr. Joe, on how we can lift the shame and stigma that surrounds revisions. And then on Thursday, I will be presenting on a panel about how patients feel the shame and stigma has been lifted for them. So we'll be tapping into you guys to gather your stories, gather your reflections, and carry forward those messages that you want to make sure we deliver to the ASMBS. And ASMBS stands for the American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgeons. So this group of professionals are the ones that set the standards for bariatric care, not only here in the United States, but also at the international level. So they're the ones conducting research, pushing through research. They're the ones reviewing, all of the research that comes out. They're also the ones advocating for improved access to care. And as Dr. Peterson talked about in his podcast episode, it's not just surgical care. They are now advocating for all types of treatment because they know that oftentimes it's a yes and we need surgery and we need another modality of treatment. But yeah, they're advocating for patient needs. They are really working hard on our behalf to make sure that more people access treatment and that more people continue to treat the disease even after surgery. So big news. Like I said, there's been a lot happening behind the scenes, but it's really been all great and amazing stuff. So really fun things happening in May and June. Right for us to roll into the summer months so we can have some fun. You know? Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are excited about Mindful May. And I know that you guys are very excited for ASMBS. We'll be sharing all kinds of information about that coming up as well. And the last thing I just want to let you know that bariatric intuitive eating cohort does kick off May 15th. I think some people have been a little bit frustrated by the sign up process, and I apologize. You can't sign up for that deep dive on the app. You have to log into a computer to do that. And Apple is actually behind that, why that happens the way that it does. So if you are interested in participating in that deep dive, it's led by Kelly Broadwater. She's a bariatric eating specialist. It's really geared towards people who are 1 year or more post-op. But the power of intuitive eating is it's going to teach us to reconnect with our gut, reconnect with our intuition, which we all have. And Kelly's going to arm us with some tools and strategies that help us really just trust that intuition again. So she's going to be leading the group through all 10 intuitive eating principles and then teach us how to apply those principles safely to our bariatric journey. So that's what that experience is all about. There's a one-time additional fee. It's a premium experience. Kelly's not an expert member of our community yet, but she's going to lead it for us in there. So if that is something you're interested in, absolutely get signed up for it today. You have to do it from a computer, but you will own all of those resources forever. So all of the recordings, all of the handouts, and all of her materials are yours forever. You're going to get a nice, beautiful Google Drive file at the end of it, and boop, yours forever. So that's happening May 15th. And that should be really interesting as well. Oh my gosh, so much good stuff. All right, my friends. I think we did it. Is everybody feeling a little bit better than when they left? That's always the goal, right? We want to create this space for you to go, things are feeling heavy, things are a struggle, and then we get to leave together feeling hopeful and inspired. Ooh. Awesome, you guys. Well, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us today. And thank you for sharing and offering all those wonderful suggestions. That's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for spending time with us today. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you in the nation
Thank you,
soon.
everybody. Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.